The Apache Software Foundation has dropped the word Apache from their name and branding. They've even removed the feather, the iconic Apache feather. For those of you who don't know Apache, Apache is the web server that really kick-started open source web serving in general. In fact, there was a period of time when a lot of the biggest growth of Linux as an operating system was in the server space, specifically credited to what it was known as the LAMP stack. LAMP. Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. There was a significant period of time, well over a decade, probably more like 20 years or so, where the LAMP stack was the holy grail, the gold standard of web serving and web development for years and years. Apache is quite possibly the biggest, most recognized brand in web servers and web serving that has ever existed. But they've decided they don't want to be known as Apache anymore. They are now known as the ASF. Just ASF. No, not. They were the Apache Software Foundation, but they're not going to use the word Apache anymore. They're just now ASF. They also determined, and this is not a joke, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, that feather, they had this multicolored feather that was their logo. That they can't use that anymore either because feathers are offensive. They now have a leaf. It's a very real thing. I'm gonna read this to you now. This is from news.apache.org. So why would we change it? As a non-Indigenous entity, oh God, as soon as they uttered that phrase, like my vision starts to go, I get a little fuzzy and I start to see red and I just pass out. I pass out. As soon as someone says, as a non-Indigenous entity, I just instantly pass out. We acknowledge that it is inappropriate. Oh my God. I got to get through reading this. As a non-Indigenous entity, we acknowledge that it is inappropriate for the Foundation to use Indigenous themes or language. We thank natives in tech and other members of the broader open source community for bringing this issue to the forefront. Today, we are announcing we will be retiring the feather icon and logo and replacing it with a new logo that embodies the Foundation's rich history of providing software for the public good. I have no idea what the letters ASF could possibly embody here, other than a complete capitulation to stupidity. Now, what's crazy is I started looking around. I couldn't find one single complaint from anyone who could be recognized as an Apache who was upset at the Apache web server. Not one complaint. Couldn't find it. All the complaints I found were from people who might as well be named Karen and were either trans people or ladies in the open source industry who felt like it was inappropriate to say the word Apache. Now, here's what's crazy to me about this. When you know the history of the Apache web server and the naming of it, this means that the name change is literally a disrespect of the Apache people because it was named the Apache after the Apache people. Now, I want to squash a myth that's been floating around. A lot of people think that the Apache web server is a pun, right? Because it's named that after it being Apache web server, right? It's got a lot of patches in it and it's kind of spit and bubble gum together and it's got people submit patches for it. So it's Apache web server. They shorten it to just Apache web server. That's not true. That's not true at all. That is a joke that someone made very early in the development of the Apache web server, but that is not what it was named after. It's a great story. It's fantastic. It's not real. So I'm going to read for you the actual reasons for it. This is from Brian Behlendorf, who created the Apache web server and named it. Quote, the name Apache was chosen from respect for the various Native American nations collectively referred to as Apache, well known for their superior skills in warfare strategy and their inexhaustible endurance, end quote. Well, that seems like someone loves the Apaches, right? So now that the Apache Software Foundation has dropped the Apache and renamed themselves to ASF, does that mean that they no longer wish... So they made it clear they no longer wish to associate with the name Apache, and they are basically apologizing for have ever used it. So does that mean that they no longer have respect for the Native Americans known as the Apaches? It would suggest to me that the ASF Foundation hates Apache people. That's because they chose the name Apache to show respect to Apache, and now they're saying, we're so sorry we ever used that name. We know some people find it offensive. Well, no Apaches find it offensive. So who finds it offensive? Well, apparently people who hate Apaches. I can't find any other reason for this, and it's crazy. I also want to read another line because I think it's fantastic. According to Brian Behlendorf, the founder of Apache, the original name was intended to convey this, quote, take no prisoners, be kind of aggressive and kick some ass, end quote. That's awesome. See, reading those quotes from Brian Behlendorf about Apache makes me like Apache, both as a project and the name of it, even more. But apparently, the new ASF Foundation, the foundation previously known as Apache, does not want to convey that be kind of aggressive, kick some ass, and take no prisoners mentality. No. They just want to make sure that nobody thinks of them as having any relations whatsoever to Apache. This was up on their website as of not that long ago. You can go to archive.org or wherever and look at the apache.org website where they had a frequently asked question talking about exactly all this stuff. In fact, he addresses the Apache web server thing in an interview that he did for Linux Magazine many years back. So this is Brian Behlendorf again. Someone said they liked the name, that it was a real good pun. And I was like, a pun? What do you mean? He said, well, we're building a server out of a bunch of software patches, right? So it's Apache web server. I went, oh, all right. The interviewer then says, that never occurred to you when you thought of the name? And then Brian Behlendorf responds, when I thought of the name, no. It just sort of connoted take no prisoners, be kind of aggressive and kick some ass. In fact, he decided he wanted something named Apache because it was awesome before he started the web server project. And so he's like, hey, I wanted to do this thing called Apache, and now I'm doing a web server project. That's the story. That's the real story. But of course, heaven help us. The world is now a little bit less cool. The Apache Software Foundation no longer kicks ass. Sorry for all the swearing in this episode, but this is the quote. I'm quoting the people. And apparently they hate Native Americans, or at least the Apaches. Maybe they like other Native Americans more than Apaches. I don't know. It's very confusing. Thank you to the Lunduke Journal subscribers for allowing us to cover this absolutely asinine story. Go to lunduke.com and subscribe over there. Grab a free subscription. We're free to watch and listen and read everywhere on X and Substack and Locals and Rumble and Patreon. It's all over the place. But if you want to subscribe, make a paying subscription. You can help keep the Lunduke Journal rocking and keep us 100% big tech free going forward with no ads and no nothing else. Lots of options. Go to lunduke.com, scroll down. It's all there on the bottom right-hand side of the page. Lots and lots of different ways. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across this vast and glorious intertube, including all the Apaches out there, because you're kicking ass, I do declare, end broadcast.